threat of disaster is never pleasant.
Welcome to the Casual Preppers podcast.
These safety measures are essential.
The only place for prepping, survival, and entertainment.
This will be your source of survival instructions and information. Every member of the family must be coached in the business of survival.
Here are your hosts, Cam and Kobe.
Welcome to the podcast.
The strong voice didn't stick on mine, so this is it. This is what you guys gotta hear this whole episode.
There's a demon and a chipmunk.
But it does sound scary when I'm distant. Listen, I'm like getting far away. It sounds like a possessed little child.
It's like a poltergeist or something.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
So, yeah, I wanted to start this with two deep, scary voices, but Kobe apparently can't get mine to stick.
I don't know how to use
Just happens that he has the cool one and I have the little baby voice. Oh, man.
Shoot. Well, what are we doing today, Cam?
Yeah, so this episode we're super excited about because we've been watching all the fun Halloween movies like The Lost Boys, Monster Squad. So we thought, what would you do if you and your friends found yourself in this situation in real life?
Dude,
How would you survive it? How would you navigate through it?
Dude.
Well, guess what? This is what today's episode is about. And we're gonna give you all the info on how to survive these scenarios.
We got answers.
Yeah,
right?
We do, man. This is gonna stick with the voices for sure.
We're gonna turn the voices off.
Yeah, you won't have to listen to the whole thing like this. I know you probably want to. I think my wife would prefer that I do.
Oh, yeah.
She's like, he sounds less stupid.
Can you talk in that chipmunk voice, babe?
Bring it home.
Bring it to the bedroom.
Yours sounds way better. Bring it to the bedroom, baby.
I just want you to bring it to the bedroom.
Oh, man, that might sound so ridiculous.
Yeah.
Bring it to the bedroom, baby. Hey.
No, make it low.
Hey, baby. Bring it on over here. You can't do it. It won't go low.
I'll try to go really high.
Now, that one kind of gets a little better.
Yeah, it's a little bit better.
But listen to me. That sounds scary. You guys, today's episode is going to be super scary. I'm trying to talk low. Watch out. Today, a monster's gonna... I'm doing redneck deep and it doesn't... I'm gonna tell you guys.
I gotta stop, my stomach hurts.
No one's kept listening from this point anyway.
Okay.
Now we sound weird.
Oh my gosh. I was dying there for a second. Okay.
If that didn't scare you.
Yeah, I know.
And you're still listening.
I know. Thank you for sticking around. Most subscription boxes are full of samples and junk you'll never use, but not BattleBox. It's the monthly subscription box full of solid gear for adventure seekers, survivalists, outdoor enthusiasts, and casual preppers. Each month, BattleBox sends you the coolest selection of hand-picked outdoor survival and everyday carry gear, all valued at far more than what you normally pay. You never know what's in the next box, but here's a sampling of what users received this month. The Pull Start Fire Starter.
That's the best one.
Yeah. How about the Double X Knives Bush Baby?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. All this badasses starts at just $34.99 per month. They've shipped over 1 million boxes and won Best Subscription Box of 2020. Our listeners, they get a free knife when they sign up at battlebox.com/casual preppers. And if you're going to fight off a horde of zombies or vampires or werewolves.
They even had a zombie box at one point.
They did. You're going to want a free knife to do that with. So go to battlebox.com/casual preppers.
Man, I'll have to say, fall and winter remind me of BattleBox big time.
They do too.
That's when we were doing most of our videos.
I actually I downloaded our very first BattleBox video. I'm going to reshare it again this
the zombie one?
The zombie box.
Dude, it was so good.
It was fun.
That one was good. I liked that one.
Classic.
Yeah. It was
but you know what else is classic? This scenario in my head of surviving an apocalyptic horror night with your squad. And when we say squad, we mean your buddies, your friends, right?
We're 40-year-olds. But
I know,
we
we're gonna
still
talk about that.
dream of
Yeah.
being in a little group of like young kids
We
and
do.
run around. Well, sorry, that sounded really weird. We picture ourselves as young kids in a group of young kids.
It's true.
We picture ourselves as just a group of young kids and just
I'll
us
tell you,
boys.
I just can't wait to survive with a bunch of young boys.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's creepy.
Yeah.
That's creepy. But yeah, I mean, like today's going to be a really fun episode, and the movies that we're kind of modeling this after, specifically in my head, anyways, is the Monster Squad and the Lost Boys.
Yeah, I mixed a little others, but these are the two key ones.
They're
for
the two
sure.
key ones, like the two main ones, and there's a lot of other ones that come into play in this. But it's like a group of kids that have to come together basically on one night to fight off whatever this weird horror apocalypse is that's upon them, right? And so we thought, hey man, we'll just do this. We're gonna give everybody the tips to make it through a night like this. Because you never know. And again, this is a dream of mine since I've been like 6 years old, 7 years old. Monster Squad came out in 87. So did the Lost Boys. I think it came out when I was 6, both of them.
It's just that time is when it was like kids getting together and doing things like this.
Yeah. Yeah, kids, no men.
I had to
involved.
be very careful with how I said that.
I know, yeah. So, one of the first things, and again, did we say this? This is the Halloween special.
Yes. I don't know if we actually said that.
Like, let me tell you something.
is.
It's getting harder and harder each year to come up with a Halloween special.
We've pretty much
for casual
taught
preppers.
You guys how to defend against everything.
Yeah,
we've gone over every monster.
I think so. I mean, there's probably others.
Like most of the like Halloween-ish scenarios we've gone over.
I think next year we're probably going to have to like maybe take a poll from the listeners.
Because we might want to. I mean, we had thought about redoing some of them, like the zombie one we haven't revisited in a long time.
Sure,
it's always a fun topic. So maybe you guys can tell us what to do next time.
Maybe
that's a great idea.
Anyways, one of the first things you've got to consider when an apocalyptic horror night is upon you is assembling your squad, and then within that squad, what are the roles for everybody? What are the strengths that your friends have, and what are the things that you need to be able to survive through this night?
Yeah, man, I was super disappointed. This wasn't my section.
Oh, were you really? Oh, I'm sorry. We could have switched.
No, I probably would have ruined it anyway. But this topic. This part,
you like it,
makes me like super excited because we've talked about that before. Like, what are your strengths? Like, if you could put stats in different places and stuff like that, it's like you've got to figure this out now.
Yeah, and so it's very key to this situation. And I mean, you think about it. You're 12 years old. This is kind of that moment that you're living for when your friend group becomes something like the Monster Squad. And again, if you haven't seen the Monster Squad, hit pause, go watch. Come back, because it's very key to a lot of this conversation.
It is.
But we've all seen the movies that are similar.
I saw it for the first time last year.
You did.
Kobe's basement.
He
wasn't home, but it was great.
He came in and watched it, though. Yeah. And Lost Boys, again, very similar group of boys have to
that one I've
fight
seen
off
multiple times.
Yeah, multiple times. And there's other movies that are similar, but that's kind of where we're getting this from anyways. But this is, the thing is, you're not 12 anymore. I mean, if you're listening to this and you're 12, it's very odd. There might be one or two out there.
But how old do you think they were in,
in which movie?
In, The Lost Boys. 14, 15?
13, 14 probably.
Because, you don't see them drive or anything.
No, they ain't driving. They're all on bikes.
I figure 14.
Maybe 14. Yeah. Monster Squad, they're a little younger.
Yeah, they are younger.
They're a little bit younger. But either way, it doesn't matter. But again, we're not 12 anymore. We're like 40-something. And you might be 30-something. You might be 50-something. Listen to this. But that doesn't make this exercise any less fun to do.
No, you still gotta consider it.
Yeah, I mean, but just, our bodies they're not 12-year-old bodies anymore. Cam, that makes Cam sad. But, so choosing the right roles is very critical in this situation, both for the survival and then making sure that nobody throws their back out in the middle of this
yeah, there you
apocalyptic
go.
horror.
Apply it to the real population that's listening.
And then something I was thinking about, my squad's going to have to be pretty small because I don't have very many friends. It might just be me and Cam. I don't know.
It's probably going to be that for me.
We have a couple other people. So,
Yeah, that's true. We do. I think we
could come up with maybe 4 guys.
Yeah, we can pull them in.
We can pull them in, yeah. So you might have to like double up on some of these to make everything work. But let's go through some of the roles here and some of the different types of people that might be included in your squad. The number 1 is the strategist. And this could be called many different things, but this friend is kind of one of those friends that, you know, they've been playing 4D chess their entire life, or at least they think they have been doing it. You see, Civ. Okay. Yeah, Civ. Maybe. Yeah. You know, they're the kind of person that's probably already thought about this. They probably already mapped out your entire town.
Yeah.
All the escape routes. They've got these contingency plans that they've drafted on, you know, Microsoft Word or something. And, you know, or they have Excel spreadsheets. Like, they're just really like
they're organized.
They're organized.
And
they're strategic.
And they played it out before in their head.
Like, they played it out before. Yeah, you're right.
They're not super uncomfortable with the situation because they've already
Yeah. And this is the type of person that probably like within your life who, you know, has like a group text for every little different thing that they have going on.
Yeah.
And to Cam's thing. And they probably send calendar invites for.
This is 100% not me. I am not a strategist.
They have calendar invites for everything to keep everybody's schedules in order. So this is the kind of person that's great to sort of help run the show. You know, whether that's deciding, you know, how to fortify whatever, like your fort or your base or your home base or whatever, or mapping out routes to, you know, supply runs, those types of things. And they've kind
of got to have that.
You have to. These type of
Everything
people
kind of falls apart.
They thrive under that pressure because they've already mapped this out, right? They can get bogged down in details sometimes, so you have to be careful.
Right.
You do not have time for PowerPoint presentations as vampires are hovering over your home.
Yeah.
You have to be rolling. So that's the strategist. That's somebody that's very important within this monster squad of yours. And it's not just a monster squad, but you know what I mean. And then there's the muscle or the fighter. I don't know how else to name this person. They're the warrior.
Yeah.
Right?
You got to have a tough guy.
You got to have a tough guy. They can like swing a bat. They can move heavy furniture. You know, they can throw a punch.
A lot of time it's like the athlete or the jock or something.
Yes.
You got to have muscle.
It just kind of makes sense. You know, when you were 12, it's probably the dude that was the biggest.
This is the one you wanted to be, but you're like, ain't going to happen.
Yeah. There was always like that friend that was bigger than everybody else.
Yeah,
heavier than everybody else.
So many ways.
Wrestling with people, right? And now in your 40s or 50s or 30s or whatever, it's the one that's still going to the gym probably, you know, as the rest of you waste away on the couch watching the Monster Squad.
Maintaining.
Yeah, he's got a diet that he follows, or he can still run a mile.
Yeah. There's definitely that person still.
This person might have like wrestled in high school or maybe done some karate.
Wrestled you in high school?
I definitely wrestled this boy. Or they've done karate or some, you know, or boxing or something like that, some sort of martial arts. So that's kind of the fighter. You got to have that muscle guy.
Yeah, it's true. It doesn't have to be like totally ripped dude. Like somebody that is athletic, like fit and hopefully, also has
because it's not always just muscle. And that's
skill.
why I did /fighter, because they could be nimble, they could be quick, they could jump over a candlestick. I wasn't going there, but it came out.
Like nimble, that's the only place I ever see that.
I know. Anyways, that's the muscle, the fighter, anyways.
Can you jump over a candlestick?
Yeah. All right, you got
You're
the
the
job.
muscle boy.
You got the job. Now we come to the medic.
Yep.
Yeah. So back in the day, it was probably the person whose mom was a nurse or something. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
They're the only ones that had like any idea what to do. They were pouring hydrogen peroxide
the
over
one
everything.
kid that wasn't scared of blood.
Yeah.
You know?
That's all right. I'll just lick it off. You know?
It takes a while to develop that. Surprising
sure.
how many kids freak out with blood.
Yeah, and like you get in a bike wreck and they're the only ones that are like calm. Like, we'll just
The other
walk
one's like
home.
pale, passed out, and like it's just a scratch.
They're like twitching on the sidewalk because you're bleeding in the middle of the road.
Yeah.
But you have that one friend who was like cool and like, all right, we'll just get you back to mom. She quick.
Little blood.
Yeah. I'll just take a picture of that.
There's blood all right.
Yep. You got hurt.
You're a little iron deficient too. Did you know that?
So anyways, this role is super vital because someone's going to twist an ankle, someone's going to pull a muscle. Like, I'll probably go into it with a pulled muscle already, knowing me. You know, like I'm already going to have a pulled muscle. So you got to have that person that's going to help. They have to know that basic first aid. They have to, you know, how much ibuprofen you can take and have it with them, you know, that kind of thing. And if you have a friend that's in the medical field, you've won the squad.
I know.
lottery.
I always unfortunately by default, I'm probably going to fit this role.
But fortunately, like you're making the squad.
Can I be the muscle medic?
You can. Well, 100%. And that's what we said. Some people are going to have to be both.
Yeah.
Right? They're going to have to be multiple things. And at the end, I'm going to tell you which two I think you are.
Yeah. You got it right.
I think I did.
Looking at it.
Yeah. But yeah, you're in the squad like automatically. So you should be happy about that. I might not even make a squad. I'm the guy who gets cut from the soccer team as on freshman soccer. So anyways, then we got the gearhead. You know, and this is like MacGyver. This is the dude that like is really great at just like turning trash into treasure. Yeah. Sort of thing. You know, they can.
This is another one I wish I could be, but I don't feel confident enough about.
Yeah.
I don't know. Duct tape a fork to it. That's a pretty good idea.
I got some zip ties and a little gum. We're going to fix this up. You just make a mess. Yeah. You know? Yep. Break a bunch of zip ties and get sticky. That's all you do. But like, you know, there was.
Pinch your finger in the dikes. I'm already done.
He's talking about pliers.
That's
wire cutters.
Still calling that.
Yeah. That's so funny. Anyway, and like at 12, there was always like that kid that was actually good at that stuff when you were young. And you're like, gosh dang, how you do that? How you hit the nail with the hammer and you know, make all that stuff work. They always had like a Swiss Army knife. Yeah. That kind of thing. But like at our age, it's probably the guy that has every tool known to man. Yeah.
My dad would fit this role.
For sure.
Dude can take anything and just make something.
I think my dad would probably be that guy too.
Yeah, I see your dad doing that too.
Yeah, and it's just like, for this guy, for this role, you're going to hand him over like any weird gadgets or materials. They're going to build some cool stuff with it throughout the night. You know, like a garlic sprayer or a silver bullet launcher, like just not a hose.
This is usually where the firearm expert's going to fit into it as an adult. So.
So yeah, that's that guy. And then we have the techie. Yep. We can't overlook tech on an apocalyptic horror night. You just can't.
No. And that doesn't mean, you know, I'm sure you don't mean just like that he uses only electronics, like phone and stuff like that. It's like lighting and powering
mood
things.
Lighting.
They
have to light everything up. So at 12, this is probably the kid that was into video games. That's like all he played. And at 40, this is a guy that's probably into video games. You know what I mean? Yeah. But now,
I wish I could still be into them. I don't have time for them anymore.
They're the person like who can rig up like surveillance cameras, or you know, they can cut out power to the vampire house or something. You know, and so you're gonna let them take control of those types of things, whether it's security cameras or GPS type stuff to keep everybody on track or where they're at. So that's the techie.
He's important, man.
He's very important.
Otherwise, you get like art. Up there.
Trying to cut the power, and he almost dies. He does get the power cut.
He did? Yeah.
And so I added this one. This one's kind of a different deal. And this comes back to the Monster Squad. And if you've seen it, you know who Rudy is within the Monster Squad. He's the cool guy. Yeah. You know, he's just like you want to be him. He's cool under pressure. You know, he smokes cigarettes.
Also could be the jock guy.
Yeah, he smokes cigarettes. He's got like a really cool jacket, probably the coolest bike of the whole bunch. But, you know, and they're not always the strongest or the smartest, but they got that attitude. You know what I mean?
Charisma.
They got charisma. They got the Riz, as the kids say.
The Riz, that's what it is now. Huh?
And so the thing is, you let Rudy do what Rudy does best. He takes charge of the action, and he does it with style.
It's easy to follow. People
easy
are
to
like,
follow.
He looks cool. He looks like he knows what he's doing.
And that's where it comes into it for me, you know. This coolness can kind of seep into the rest of the squad.
It's like confidence.
Confidence. One badass monster kill with some flair. Yeah. The whole squad is just like up to another level the whole rest of the night. And so it's very important to have a guy like this.
Yeah.
Okay, so those are the roles. There's probably more that you could come up with, but we only have about an hour here today, so I can't do everything. So in my squad, if I'm looking at Cam, he's my medic and my techie, probably.
Yeah, probably.
Could be a third. He could be the muscle too, because he's bigger. But that's what I'm looking at.
Yeah.
I mean, he's cool, but he's not Rudy.
Yeah, I would say you would fit the cool guy.
Really? I don't think so.
Strategist?
No, I ain't going with the... You can't give me Rudy. No.
And then I'd probably put you as a fighter, obviously. You're the defense guy who's going to teach everybody how to defend themselves.
I just don't know how much jiu-jitsu is going to help with vampires.
But the strategist, organizing things, I definitely see you as that.
I could see that too, probably.
As much as you don't want to.
No, I know. Just remember, every squad's going to be different,
Yeah.
Your squad's going to have different dynamics, and you're going to have to deal with things on the fly.
You might be all 5.
Yeah. You might be, you might just be one guy. And now your squad is just you, and you're a loser.
There's a lot that think they're all. Yeah.
But you might have somebody who's like, no, I'm a strategist, or no, I'm the fighter.
Yeah.
But they're not.
Yeah, that's true. They're going to try and take the role.
Yeah.
But you're like, you don't belong in that role.
No.
Sorry. You're the kitchen cook, actually.
Yeah, you're the guy that holds the bag.
You're the inventory watcher.
Yeah. You make sure the ladies have what they need as they stay back at home.
Yeah.
Okay?
Man.
So you have to make the right choices here. And if you do, you might just survive this night.
Yeah, that's awesome. I love the character selection. That's so important.
For sure.
So now we're going to talk about the scenarios.
Yeah.
There's a whole bunch of monsters in all these, zombies and vampires. Before we get to that, let's talk about how the scenario plays out.
Yeah.
So
this is what I like. This is cool.
So like the Monster Squad, it might be a one last chance scenario.
Oh yeah.
So it's you've got to fix it and save the world tonight.
It's pressure. It's a pressure cooker
it
of a situation.
Quick, and it's going to end quick if you don't do something about it.
Yeah.
And so this one's got a lot of pressure on it.
Yeah.
Probably the worst one, honestly.
Oh yeah.
Because you've got to put things together quick. You got to figure out where the source is and take it out.
Also, it's multiple enemies of different styles. Oh man.
Yeah.
It's like an MMA of monsters,
But yeah, so just like Monster Squad.
Monster
Quad.
I got Monster Quad.
I've been watching fitness videos, okay? Monster Quad in 50 minutes.
That's great.
But yeah, this is the big this is the big time. Like you said in here, I mean the planets are aligning, ancient evil is rising. This is the Monster Squad to a T. So yeah, it's going to be kind of chaotic because you got to figure out what the monster is and the weakness and all of that. Much more stressful. So surviving through this, there's some things to consider.
Yeah.
Make sure your squad knows your plan.
Yeah.
Even though it's kind of a chaotic plan and it's going to be slapped together rather quick, like Father Rick. You want to make sure that everybody understands it.
That's why the strategist is very important here.
It is, yeah. So, and now it's got to be selected quick.
Yeah.
It's maybe you're going to have two compete. What's your plan? What's your plan?
You kind of have to have somebody take control and just say, hey, this is it.
That's the thing that's hard is because, I don't want to be told what to do, but I also don't want to take lead in certain things. So it's
you want your cake and you want to eat it too.
You want to move into that position or what? But yeah.
But I want to be heard, but I don't want you to tell me what to do. Sounds very familiar. I just want you to listen to me rant.
Yeah.
Cam. Okay? But I don't want you to tell me how to fix any of these problems.
That's true.
Okay?
That is modern day, right?
Yeah. No.
But yeah, this is the kind of night you only get a second. You don't get a second chance. You've got to plan A, B, and C pretty quickly. The next scenario is the slow invasion.
Yeah.
This is the one that I like to think about because it's you have some clues and you're starting to see things fall apart, but you have time to put together a good plan.
Yeah.
It's not going to all happen at once.
Sure.
So the Lost Boys.
Yeah.
They moved into the town. They know there's vampires and it does happen quick.
It's
a
relatively
short movie. It has to.
An hour and a half. Yeah.
But they've been dealing with vampires for a long time.
Some of them have.
Yeah.
The grandpa definitely has.
So this gives you a little more time to put things together. And the other thing with it, Signs is kind of like that.
Sure.
It's you don't know where this is going to go, but you also have time to kind of put together a plan and a strategy. Vampires make it very difficult.
Sure.
They're taking people, they're killing people. You don't know where they're at. And so they are probably, I don't know, I guess both scenarios, the vampires are the ones that's either a quick or it's going to be a long, longer scenario.
With vampires too, is they're increasing their numbers as they go.
That's true.
They're converting.
They're adding to.
They're
not, They're feeding and they're converting.
Yes.
That's true.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like missionaries.
I was going to say that. But this is a little more about the long game.
Yeah.
You have time to develop a good plan, fortify your home, gather gear, start hunting down their hideouts. We'll talk about the montage later, but this is when you're like just putting everything together and you're planning to take this thing on. So I like that scenario. Pandemonium is a freaking mess. Maybe this is the worst one.
Yeah, it might be.
So imagine the mix of like The Purge or Night of the Living Dead or World War Z, where it's just instant chaos.
Yeah, there's not
people
even a
killing
lead
people,
up.
and there's like everybody's in mass hysteria, and it's like, yeah, there's no lead up.
Cats and dogs living together. Well, but like even with Monster Squad, there was like 2 days they had to get ready for the night.
Yeah, that's
But this
true.
is like all of a sudden.
Yeah.
It's just there.
The night's
you
there.
walk outside and you're
This
there.
is probably even quicker than the first, right?
For sure, yeah.
But yeah, and this is probably more what we as preppers like prepare for.
Yeah.
It's something that's just going to happen and throw us for a loop, you know?
Yeah.
And so it could be zombies. It could be werewolves that finally come down and start feeding on everybody and taking over. It's the one full moon night that you weren't prepared for.
Yeah.
Or demons. Somebody's went out, into the cornfield and cast some spells, and now they have a portal.
They lit the black flame candle and they were a virgin. You just don't know.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
But this is like pure survival mode.
Yep.
Obviously better in a group because you can watch each other's backs.
Yeah.
You can use each other skills. And so that's why groups are important. You don't really have time. So you got to get this thing together quickly. You got to stay close. You got to protect each other. You might be wanting to get out of the town. Like this is the bug out scenario too.
You don't bug out in an apocalyptic horror night.
I know.
That's the
I know
whole
you didn't
point.
like that, but I have to mention it.
Yeah.
So you try and find a stronghold, right?
Well, so
you
I
want to
think
save your town.
you do. You want to save your town. And with this pandemonium one, this is where having thought about this beforehand becomes a big deal because you know who your squad is. You can't gather your squad
That's true.
if you look out the window and there's zombies.
Yeah.
It's too late. There's no
Sound
gathering
like
squad.
Matthew McConaughey.
Yeah.
You got to gather your squad. I don't know how you say it.
Gather your squad. Yeah, I don't know.
But yeah, so let's talk about the monsters.
Yeah.
So obviously, you got to talk about vampires. It's Halloween, and
My kids used to call them Bam Powers.
Bam
Powers. Yeah.
And we know all about vampires if you've listened to our other podcasts, right?
Oh, yes, for sure.
Because we went into detail.
Highgate Vampire.
Yeah.
Greatest story ever told.
So these bloodsuckers might look like human, and they just blend in. So as we see in like the Lost Boys, they just look like punk kids. They're just hanging out, but
Attractive boys.
We have very attractive boys.
Yeah.
But yeah, who knew that they're the ones flying around killing people?
Nobody did.
So
Grandpa did.
you never know. This is a hard one to defend against because you have to know all the skills and the tricks, the mirrors, squirt guns full of holy water, things like that. Garlic.
But you do have some things at your disposal. You know they don't like sunlight.
That's true.
They're
going to be prowling around at night.
Yeah,
That's true.
nighttime is, and during the day they're in their coffin or in their cave or whatever it is.
That's true. There
hiding.
is the nighttime.
So you
thing.
have that at your disposal as a.
So
big
it gives
bonus.
you that buffer. So
Sure
you have
does.
the daytime to plan. That's kind of what they do in the Lost Boys.
Yep, exactly.
So obviously, there's all that stuff that goes with it: wooden stakes, holy water, garlic. Kobe and I were texting this morning about where do we get holy water in town?
I don't even know.
Putting this together made me think. I'm like, where do we get holy water?
I don't even think we have a
So
Catholic
funny.
church here.
I don't know if we do.
And I think you have to go to
We're
a
in
Catholic
Utah,
church
so
to get holy water.
That's the only
Do
one
other
I think
churches
that
have holy water?
I don't know. I don't know.
I don't know
I don't
enough
know my
about this.
religious history.
I'm gonna have to ask ChatGPT, I guess.
Yeah.
Where do I get holy water?
Yeah, because it's
town.
important. So.
It is. Crucifixes as well, very important.
Crucifixes are easier to find.
Yeah,
the dollar store has crucifixes.
You can get them at the dollar store.
So-
You're right.
Yeah. But yeah, so putting together a plan to fight against these, obviously you got to be up on your vampire history. You got to know how to kill them.
Information's very important.
Stake them, cut their head off, burn the body.
Simple.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So werewolves, when it's full moon And if things start getting crazy and it's a full moon, you already know the werewolves are involved.
They will be.
Almost every time.
Every time.
So silver's your best defense, whether it's silver bullets, knives, or even like coins taped to your knuckles.
I didn't know that was useful.
Sounds useful.
Wow.
But this is another reason why we as preppers have precious metals.
Yeah.
Because you might melt them down and defend yourself against a werewolf.
Yep.
So avoid hot spots, obviously, when the moon's full and out. You probably don't want to be out and about. This is when you want to be guarding your home, staying together as a group.
Yep.
There's other things that you can consider. Wolfsbane.
Oh, yeah.
Might keep them away. I don't know if you can get that around here.
I don't know.
We have a trading store, like like those little
farmers market,
apothecary type stores.
Do we have one like that?
I think we do, don't we? They have all that other like oils and
they
crap.
Have like a salt room?
They have wolfsbane, yeah.
Yeah.
And some people say mountain ash. I don't know what that is.
Is that like when I take my wife
This is a
camping?
campfire that's been put out. You just pick it up. It's on the mountain.
Not just that when I took my wife camping. That's what it was.
Yeah, mountain ash.
Mountain ash.
Zombies.
Yeah. Classic.
Yeah, you know how to kill these. You gotta go for the head. And so with a blunt weapon or firearm, kids, that's going to be a lot harder. So they got to go with some makeshift tools and
even like a crossbow or an arrow, bow and arrow would be great. Yeah,
even better. Yeah, crossbow. Yeah. Stay silent. Stay out of sight. Zombies. They don't have great hearing, but they do. Come in hordes. That's the thing you got to watch out with zombies. So
come one, come all.
You definitely have to keep barricaded.
Yeah.
Demons and paranormal creatures.
Oh, this is what scares me.
Paranormal creatures.
They're tough.
Yeah. They operate at a whole different level.
Yeah, they do.
You're dealing with malevolent spirits, and you got ancient curses and things that they just don't obey the rules.
Yeah.
Like you can't shoot a ghost or a spirit.
I would, but I know it wouldn't be effective, but I would still shoot. I would use every bullet I had.
I know. This is where I would struggle. Like there's a lot of deep like amulets and spells and
We do each have sea salt
better
amulets.
hope. Oh, that's true. We do.
Yeah.
Yeah. You better hope that you have somebody that's up on this.
That's the
because
thing.
I don't feel like I
We're going to talk about that later, actually.
So you got to have some like skill in the dark magic, black magic.
And I just don't have it. I wish I did, kind of.
Yeah. So when in doubt, salt the door, holy water in your kit. You never know. It could hurt them.
Yeah.
If you have Solomon's ring, obviously that protects against about everything.
Yeah. I heard the Staff of Moses is great as well.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
So
Ark of the Covenant.
Listen to our episode on just monsters, right? We did one. It was on the Casual Prepper.
We did one on like ghosts or something.
But it had vampires, remember?
Yeah.
'Cause we talked about
we did
knots
classic monsters.
And, classic.
We did classic monsters.
So go check that one out.
Yeah.
But all the other weird crap, there could be, large ants or insects, gremlins, critters.
Yeah, man, those are classic.
Like
they're aliens or they're like an ancient like Chinese animal that has a lot of rules around taking care of it. Yeah.
A mogwai.
Yeah.
But just remember, firearms are probably going to be one of the most helpful as an adult.
For all those ones for sure. Like I'll shoot a critter right in its stupid
all of
face.
These.
I'll shoot.
I know it won't be that effective, but I'm gonna shoot them all.
I think if I shot a gremlin, it's done.
Do you remember Critters?
I do remember Critters.
They'll just blast into pieces.
On the cover, they're coming out of a toilet. Or no, it's Ghoulies.
That's Ghoulies. See, there's Ghoulies too.
Ghoulies.
You never know if that's
well.
going to happen. That's a good one.
Yeah, Ghoulies.
Didn't even think about that movie.
Yep.
But yeah, there's a lot.
Yeah.
And so you definitely want to form a group and you want to, maybe start thinking about who would fit what,
Monster?
No, well, yeah. Who would fit in what skill category.
Yeah. That's what I'm saying. You got to think about it now.
I know between us two, we kind of have an idea, but I'm like, there's some other areas that I need to figure it out.
Oh, for sure.
But yeah, your squad success, depends on every tool used, weapon, skill at your disposal. And sometimes it's going to be that same day you need to figure it out, or you got a few days. You never know.
Just hope you do have a few days.
But I would suggest you watch some horror movies because that'll give you the most ideas.
It really will. One of the biggest things on one of these apocalyptic horror nights is the hangout spot, your safe base, right?
Yeah.
The squad always has like that spot to fall back to, whether it's a treehouse or it's an abandoned building or just your buddy's house that has the best snacks. Those are, and so when the monsters come out, your base.
As a kid, you usually were always kind of at one house.
There was a house.
My house was that house.
Yeah, my house was usually that house as well. But it's got to be a fortress, you have to consider like the fate of your town, maybe even the world, depends on you picking the right spot to lock down.
Yeah.
So consider these things wherever this spot is. Look at your windows and doors. This is Survival 101. Vampires, we know that they can't come in without an invitation, but that doesn't mean they're not going to try and sneak through an open window or something. Look,
they're going to pull you out the window.
Yeah, we don't know how these dynamics will play out when it goes down. We're just guessing. We know some rules, but we've never really worked these out in real life, right? Werewolves, obviously, they're humans, but then the moon comes out and they're just jumping through your window and howling at you and barking. We don't know. So you have to make sure that every window is locked tight and the doors are locked. And if you're dealing with zombies, this becomes even more important. You've got to really reinforce those extra nails and boards and all that kind of stuff, right?
Probably for any.
You're right.
About any monster.
But, you think of zombies, classically, they're going to be like trying to paw through your door.
Yeah.
Best case scenario.
All they did is close the blinds in the Lost Boys.
Yeah, that's true. And it worked.
Yeah.
It
kept
did
them
work.
out. They didn't.
Yeah. If you're lucky enough to already have like metal bars or reinforced doors, like, for like security upgrades, that's fantastic.
Yeah.
You're doing great, right? That's another layer against
They
the
came down the
intruders.
chimney, huh?
Yeah,
One of them did.
Yeah, one of them did.
So I had to make mention of that.
Oh, yeah. You got to be careful about the chimney, yeah. Barricade the entry points. Once you've got those locked down, now you have to really start building those barricades.
Yeah.
Whatever it is. I mean, whether it's furniture or heavy boxes or maybe that treadmill that's just really just been sitting there, for a long time. Now it becomes super useful.
Yeah.
Or like, what is it? The Bowflex. Everybody's got a Bowflex sitting in the basement that they haven't used forever. Pull that over and use those as barricades against doors and windows. Best case scenario, one of your squad mates is a contractor.
Oh, that would be...
They have access to the good stuff, whether that be like steel beams or like sandbags or plywood and nail guns and all that stuff, right? And so, again, think about that as you're building your squad because this becomes...
I've got a contractor in my neighborhood. That's a good idea. I'm going to hit him up and talk to him about this group.
I agree. I think we should. Okay, another important part about your little hideout, your fort, as we like to say, is a lookout point, right?
Yeah.
One of the best defenses in one of these situations is knowing what's coming. You got to have a lookout point where someone is watching from high ground that can see the things that are happening. Maybe they have some binoculars up there. And if you have a place like this, you got to take shifts because this could be a 2 or 3 day ordeal, and you got to be up on your sleep if you're going to be fighting vampires and zombies. And you could be fighting in the middle of the night and then into the morning. And maybe you got a reprieve in the morning because it's vampires. But you have to take shifts.
Yeah.
That's the only way you can do this.
They have a lookout on Monster Squad, huh?
They have the treehouse.
They have the treehouse,
They
right?
have the treehouse, and I'm trying to think of what else they had in the Monster Squad. He was on his roof. That's where he watched the movies.
That's right.
Yeah.
Yep. But it's, high ground, obviously.
High ground.
Not always the best.
Not always
vampires
the best,
flying around.
That's true. They could just be right above your head. Walkie-talkies are very good here, obviously. Yes. Best case scenario, you have like a second story or like a cupola or something on top. That's perfect. That's great, right?
Yeah.
Rooftop access or even like a tree house that's way up high or something. That's great. And then maybe you have binoculars or night vision goggles to help you here. Even your techie might have a drone with a camera that can really help with, making sure the perimeter is good. He does. Or you could like even hit vampires as they're flying. I don't know. You think about the things you can do, from this place. And then also makeshift alarms. You might have a security system in your home already, but you can utilize things to
distract or
to let you know. Yeah, I mean, a werewolf probably isn't super smart. He's gonna run into some tin cans on a wire, and you're gonna hear it. Like I don't think they're genius level wolves. So, anyways, that's something you can look at. But also, just having a security alarm at your home is something. If it's already there, you can utilize that, right?
Mm-hmm.
But tripwires, outdoor alarms. Maybe you're a hunter and you've got some stuff like that. Utilize it. It's great.
Yeah, you really do need a heads up.
This base is super important, but it's also important to be able to retreat if you need to, Cameron. You're going to have escape routes. Things, if we've seen one show, we've seen them all. They don't always go as planned.
Never.
You got to have a plan B, and that plan B probably entails you leaving the area, going somewhere else. So you have to have a back door, a hidden
Something
window.
always happens with Plan A.
It always does.
It really does.
It's almost never the plan that works. So you got to have like a rope ladder at your treehouse, or a way to get out the back, or a cellar door that comes out somewhere else. You just got to have those mapped out and make sure everybody knows what they are and where to go, because you don't want some idiot running to the attic when they should be going to the basement. So you got to have that figured out, right?
Yeah.
I mean, maybe
you always see those ones where they say run to the main door, and it's like,
yeah,
you can't get out, or something's already there.
No,
you do. You got to have that.
Yeah.
Other entrance.
So maybe you got a bunker, maybe you got a basement room, maybe you have an RV that's like ready to go that you could hop in and just roll, kind of like a bug out vehicle. So anyways,
I wanted to cut a trap door in my RV.
Oh, that'd be
so
cool.
I'm like, what if, somebody's trying to get into it,
and
you just crawl out the bottom
and head out.
Yeah.
That's a great idea.
Mm-hmm.
You know what else is a great idea? Getting more electrolytes. Because electrolyte deficiency or imbalances, they can cause headaches, cramps, fatigue, weakness. And as people who want to be prepared and ready for an apocalyptic horror night, the last thing you need is something that will slow you down when you need to be ready the most. That's why we at Casual Preppers have teamed up with Element. It is a tasty electrolyte drink mix with everything you need and nothing that you don't. We think Element is perfect for bug out bags and EDC kits because it contains a science-backed electrolyte ratio. 1,000 milligrams of sodium, 200 milligrams of potassium, and 60 milligrams of magnesium. Casual Preppers listeners can get a free Element sample pack when you make any drink mix purchase through our exclusive Casual Preppers link. That is one packet of every flavor, and they offer no questions asked refunds on all orders. This can be claimed by first-time and returning Element customers, so every time you restock, use the link, get the free packets. Yeah. You're an idiot if you don't do it, because it's free stuff. But you got to go to our link, and that's drinkelement.com/casualpreppers. You can get it in the show notes. You can get it on all our social medias, and you're going to get some really good stuff.
Yeah.
Okay.
Just do it.
Get it done.
It's super good. Mm-hmm. So let's talk about, like, as buddies and friends.
Yeah.
There's going to be a local hangout, right?
For sure.
That you frequent or something like
Pizza
that.
Hut. Maybe.
Pizza Hut. Yeah. Pizza Hut's awesome.
Sure.
That's true. Even more awesome as 43-year-old.
Mm-hmm.
But like all these scenarios, either they start with chaos happening in these areas and they find themselves in it and need to get out.
Yeah.
Or it's used during the whole whatever's going on.
Sure.
The isolated diner and restaurant is let's talk about a few of them.
Okay.
So like drive-in theaters, boardwalks, local diners. Mm-hmm. I've selected a few that I felt like would kind of go along with our town.
Okay. Great. I like that.
Or most small towns.
Yeah.
So like the diner or the restaurant.
Mm-hmm.
Either it's a place that you are there with your friends hanging out. Maybe it has an arcade because it's even cooler.
Yeah, that's cool.
Pizza Hut is a great example of that.
They got that salad bar.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. But it could potentially be a place that's a fortress for you. Like you talked about areas that you're going to try and get to, but what if you're hanging out eating pizza and all of this chaos, starts to happen? You've got to use that location as kind of a fortress and keep yourself safe.
Yeah, and thinking about that beforehand, next time you go eat out, look at it, say, hey, if vampires are coming.
I always do, actually. Yeah. I always look at a place as like, would I come scavenge this place? Mm-hmm. Or
for sure, Jimmy John's.
Could I live in here?
7-Eleven.
But like even in, and this was really short, but like a quiet place too.
Mm-hmm.
They ran into that restaurant and hid behind the benches and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So it might be the place that, keeps you alive. So the thing is with these restaurants, limited food supplies. So if there's a lot of you, it's not going to last very long.
Sure.
What other things could you use in there? The diner's kitchen could be a perfect place for makeshift weapons.
Yeah.
You got butcher's knives and all kinds of other like
meat
devices.
tenderizers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you definitely would find some weapons in a place like this. Mm-hmm. There might be a meat locker, which is a place that could be a safe house for you, as long as it doesn't lock on the outside.
Cold,
but it also is one you could get a monster to come in and lock him in there.
Yeah, it'd piss off a werewolf to be that cold, probably.
Exactly.
But they have a lot of meat
so
in there
you could use it.
Yeah.
But probably just keep it as it is, right?
Yeah.
Just keep that food good.
Well, then if he dies in there, then you have werewolf steaks. And they stay good for a while.
But you have a body to, do autopsies on and figure out how to kill him if it's
You're right.
real long.
Yep.
Unexpected allies, like people at Pizza Hut are pretty cool. Maybe they would join and help out.
I've never
or
met
watch
an
the
asshole
doors.
at a Pizza Hut.
No, I haven't either.
Yeah.
Weirdos, yes.
Lots of weirdos.
But I haven't met anybody that's a real jerk.
No.
So
we say in Pizza Hut so much because that's where we go with our book club. It's like the only place in town where there's nobody there.
But think, most towns have a restaurant. Like, yeah. Brigham City, it's Maddox.
Maddox, yeah.
You know, so everybody goes there.
Those shrimp steaks, man.
Oh, yeah. Everybody loves it. And so
put it in my mouth.
A small town bar, maybe you go to the bar a lot. Like that, in that place, obviously you're going to have some weapons there.
What's the bar downtown called? The one by...
Yeah, I can't remember what it's called.
Why can't I think of what it's called?
There's Bees. There's a bar next to Little Bees. That's what it is.
Bees, yeah.
Little Bees.
Yep.
But you've got a lot of weapons there.
Probably.
You've got medical supplies, weapons, and something to
alcohol,
calm your soul.
You can clean out wounds.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, I don't know if, as kids, you're probably not going to be hanging out in this area.
You don't.
As an adult, you might be hanging out here all the time.
That's true.
And so with the buddies that you usually
yeah, exactly.
This might be, the refuge for you. So sometimes a party will happen. Like I always think about a cabin out in the woods. Mm-hmm. It's like they're all going to get together and go out.
You remember that movie, Cabin in the Woods?
Yeah, yeah.
Dude, that's an underrated horror movie, I think.
Is that the one with...
It's got...
What's his name? The Hulk. Or not the Hulk. Thor, right?
Thor's in it.
Yeah, what is it?
Yeah.
Anyway.
It's a great movie.
Chris
Hemsworth.
Yeah. So, but a lot of things happen when you're at cabins. Either stuff happens at the cabin itself, or you're at the cabin when things go crazy and it starts coming towards the cabin.
Most of the cool things that's ever happened to me have been in a cabin. So...
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it's remote isolation, which is either good or bad. Evil forces may start at the cabin.
Yeah.
Come out of the forest.
That's true.
Come out of the cabin.
Yeah.
So, but good chance you might be in one. And so the nice thing, you've got axes, chainsaws, like all kinds of different weapons, gardening tools and stuff. Like people have all kinds of crap at cabins. Yeah. My dad has about every tool known to man.
VHS tapes.
Yep, exactly.
Signs
very
on the wall.
It's very comfortable.
Yep.
But it might be, this place might turn into either the heart of the chaos, or it might be the best place for you to be.
The heart of the chaos.
I know.
Yeah, it was great.
Can't put the words together.
Yeah, it's all right.
A shopping area. There's not very many malls anymore.
No. There are some.
But there's still some.
Yeah.
But this might be like an outdoor mall or strip mall or something like that. Either way, like there's a lot of people around, and
Day of the Dead.
Day of the Dead is the one that comes to mind.
The remake, right? Yeah.
Which would be pretty awesome, honestly.
Oh, yeah.
If you survive one of these, it would be. There's a new series on Netflix, actually, I watched with my wife, and they took over a mall. I can't remember what it's called.
What was that?
It's a zombie one. It's kind of a little bit cheesy teenager bopper.
I think I saw that.
He's sitting on top of a car.
I saw a couple episodes of it.
Laying on top of a car. Can't remember. But they have a mall, which is cool because you can isolate areas, right? You can pull down those little store, clothes things or whatever. Like the things that go...
and slam shut.
Yeah.
That are halfway open when you walk in the morning.
Yeah, so it'd be really nice. You can... Yeah, exactly. You slip under it and then nobody's there. No, we're not open yet.
Yeah.
But that can help you to kind of isolate areas, trap monsters. I mean, this would be a dream come true for me. This is the place I'd like to be.
You might have a Segway somewhere at the security office that you could ride around in.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Food and water, obviously, there's a lot of stores.
Hot dog on a stick.
There's the
Chick-fil-A
food court that has all kinds of different things. You got Chinese
Sbarro.
to burritos to, American food.
Yeah, for sure.
Also, there's a lot of people there, and that could be good for you and bad for you. If you can, be up in the top floor and the people down there are like food for the zombies, it gives you so much time.
You can push people off the top floor and they become food for the zombies.
Or they could all work together, which is pretty unusual, pretty unlikely.
I don't really like people that much.
And escaping these is kind of can be
tough.
tricky. Yeah. Always those back doors always lead to like a weird alleyway, and there's always like a couple dumpsters that are full of monsters. So that's the downside. I mean, you've got to understand where all the exits are and where it spits you out.
Yep.
I've left an exit on a mall, and I'm like, am I in a different town?
Yeah, I think I'm in a new state.
It blows my mind.
Yeah.
So That's the hard part. But as a kid, you probably knew that mall backwards and forwards.
You knew where Sears was. You knew where
you might
Dillard's
still
was.
today.
Yeah.
So. Boardwalk. I don't live near the coast, so I don't know how cool these are. But
I don't
the
either,
Lost
Cam.
Boys, it was awesome.
Oh, the Boardwalk.
This is where they went and watched the saxophone player. Oh my gosh! And everybody's just kind of hanging out.
Yeah.
And then this was at night, so there was even vampires amongst them.
There was.
So that could be a place for you to kind of scope out who's a vampire and who's picking people off, stuff like that.
Yep.
Also, it could be a good area for you to defend yourselves if you know it really well.
Mm-hmm.
It's like you got me and the ocean on one side, and you got land on the other. We just have to defend forward.
Ocean scares me, though.
I know, me too.
I never like the ocean on my back.
Yeah.
You
But
know?
some people, you can go up and the little Ferris wheel and whatever and shoot from there and stay up top. I mean, there's
Zombieland.
ways you can use this to work in your favor.
I agree.
But for the most part, I probably wouldn't do it. Other places like gas station or abandoned school, even a functional school like you saw in Stranger Things.
Oh, yeah.
So that was kind of more of a haunted or a lot of stuff happened in the schools.
For sure.
But just know your way around those. And as a kid, you're probably going to be in one of these areas. As an adult, you're probably going to be home.
Most likely. Or at work.
But know how to navigate through them, how to get out, where your exits are, how you can utilize all the things there, both the food and like makeshift weapons and things like that.
Yeah,
So,
and speaking of makeshift weapons,
Yeah.
I mean, in situations like this, especially in these movies, these 12-year-olds don't really have access to like military-grade weapons, right? I mean, as a 40-year-old, you don't a lot of times have access to those types
I
of
only have
things.
one.
Yeah, just 5.56. Instead, they usually improvise with whatever they can find. Things like baseball bats, and they use slingshots and, DIY, repainted, restored, up-thrifted ingenuity type stuff. You get your wife involved and she chalk paints it or something, So you
De-stresses it a little.
Yeah, you have to distress it, yeah. But the key to survival is using what's on hand and getting really creative with those types of things. So things like bats, hammers, and crowbars. I mean,
Bats, hammers, and crowbars.
Yeah, it's a new album from
That's
Kid Rock.
It's a store downtown.
Oh, dude, I would shop there.
I would go there too.
Yeah. So these are like your
Just
go-to
a secret prepper store.
bats, hammers, and crowbars.
That sounds like they have all you need.
I was looking for hammers and crowbars, but now I'm thinking bats too. I don't know.
That would be like one of the kids' dad's stores.
Yeah, for sure.
And they're going to go there, obviously. And
Exactly.
stock up.
Yeah. My dad's got the newest hammers they have out on the market. Go get your one.
I know what we can use.
Yeah.
My dad owns bats, hammers.
Crowbars. Awesome. So these are like your go-to blunt force weapons, and usually you already have these in your garage or in your basement. Those baseball bats are perfect for, I don't care any of those
Dude,
monsters.
I've made so many makeshift weapons as a kid.
Oh, yeah. I'm still making them today.
There are adults that do.
Oh,
They
I know.
have their own blast furnace and
Yeah,
stuff.
I know. Yeah, like my wife thinks I'm out cleaning the garage, but I'm actually making
She has no idea.
weapons.
We have tools for the entire neighborhood.
Oh, yeah, bass hammers and crowbars. Those hammers and crowbars, those are great for breaking through doors,
Heads.
Huh?
Heads.
Breaking through heads, and you don't got to reload them. You don't need ammo.
Yeah.
You just got to swing away.
It really is
Merle.
important to learn how to use a melee weapon.
It is. Yeah, for sure. You're not wrong. Maybe you're even a hunter and you've got access to something like shotguns or rifles, or you're a prepper,
all I need.
obviously. You got that stuff. That's more long range and that's better, but you still have to be ready for close range stuff.
You're going to run out of bullets at some point.
You will. No doubt.
Unless the world ended, because one of those
You're
scenarios is you didn't get it right the first
Yeah.
time.
And then we got spray bottles, and these could be filled with vinegar, salt water,
Yeah.
or garlic, or whatever. You have these paranormal or these supernatural creatures, ghosts and demons and whatever, and you aren't a Ghostbuster. You don't have a proton pack, but you can steal a spray bottle from your wife, fill one up with vinegar or salt water, and these are great for ghost repellent.
I wouldn't doubt I already have one full of vinegar.
Oh, yeah.
My wife's.
It's a
It's
treatment
always like it.
of
It's
some
always
sort.
for something.
There's like tinctures.
Change hair color.
Yeah.
Get a stain out.
Oh, yeah.
Clean the toilet bowl.
Sometimes I don't know if she's cooking in the bathroom or she's making some sort of a hair thing.
Yeah, I've been soaking my hair in this. It's olive oil and vinegar.
Yeah, it's like baking soda.
I'm like, what is going on?
Baking soda, Nutella, and vinegar together. Cleans your hair good.
I saw a video.
It's perfect.
It brings the brown out. Okay.
Yeah, it smooths out your eyebrows. Okay.
It makes your eyebrows straight, right? Every time.
You don't want them curly eyebrows, having
I know. It's like, oh, man.
You never know. So having some of that
there
stuff.
are a lot of those tinctures lying around.
Yeah. Flashlights, strobe lights, lasers.
Lasers?
You got to have a laser.
You do have it.
Actually, you were just playing with a laser.
I was.
Bro.
Was that in the Crate Club?
It's Crate Club or something.
Crate Club sent us a laser.
Yeah, but you can blind these. I mean, these creatures of the night don't like light.
Take a flight.
Take a flight. That just might work.
That's bright.
Right. I have no sight.
I don't got any more.
That's right. So flashlights, they're great with these nocturnal vampires, zombies, and all that kind of stuff. You know, you get your hands on a strobe light or laser pointer, use them to disorient your
Yeah, when that
people.
vampire's trying to grab Sam, they kept hitting him with the lights in his eyes.
It's like, mother effer, I can't see. You know, and so it pisses them off.
But anything's going to probably
even
struggle
a werewolf
with a bright light in their face.
Oh, yeah. You can't tell me a werewolf is going to be happy.
Yeah, no.
When you're blinding them with lights.
No.
It's just enough to get you to go.
Yeah.
You know, you can move away if you need to. And then you got simple traps using household items. You know, fishing line, rope. You can make some tripwires. Maybe you got some nails and some boards. You make a spike trap or all that kind of stuff. You know what I mean? You just have to use your environment to your advantage and then utilize those stairways and those hallways, narrow points where they have to come through.
Choke points, man.
Yeah, choke points. And you can choke them. You know, so you need to learn to improvise, adapt, and survive throughout this situation. You don't need all that high tech gear. You might have it, but you can utilize this stuff. You know, you can get a slingshot and fire garlic knots at a vampire.
They should have done that.
They should have done that.
Cooler.
Yeah. So
garlic knots. Those are delicious, by the way.
They're so good. There's snacks and weapons.
Yeah. Moss just catches
one for
it.
me, one for you. That's like great tagline.
Like
for
as
a
you
movie.
pull it back, just take a bite.
Just a quick
and
bite.
Then just shoot it.
Yeah, it's great. Anyways, DIY weapons and whatnot. Great.
That's
great idea.
Yeah. That's like a dream come true for kids.
Oh, for sure.
I love doing that.
Yeah.
I still probably have stuff laying around the farm
that you made.
My dad's like, "Where's that shovel?" On the end of it's got like a bone, a jaw bone.
Spike. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a bow and arrow and a spike and a scythe.
Yeah.
It does
and
everything.
a guitar.
And a guitar. Yep.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It's just been kicking around for a long time.
Yeah.
So this part's important.
Okay.
It makes me want to have a dog.
Okay.
Because they play the biggest role in a lot of these different scenarios.
They do.
So if you're a dog owner, I'm envious of you.
If you're a dog.
Yeah.
I'm envious
if you're a
of
dog
you.
listening to this episode right now.
Then rough.
But yeah, pets can serve as unexpected allies,
Yeah.
providing companionship, which is super important,
Yeah.
protection, and they can even help with crucial clues. They can sniff out vampires' beehole.
Yeah.
Smells like blood over here.
Yeah.
And they talk to you too, apparently.
And it smells like blood over here on this vampire.
Over here, human.
He's either got hemorrhoids or he's a vampire.
But companionship and emotional support. This is important. Like, this may be the only person left in your group is your dog.
They're not a person, by the way.
They are the people.
I'm a dog dad. Okay.
Yeah. People would assume yeah. But not only protection, but they're comforting.
Yeah,
right?
for sure, yeah.
They make you feel more comfortable because they're a lot more sensitive to sounds and disturbances. So it's like they're going to protect you. Guardians and protectors.
Yeah.
Talk about that. One of the I guess I'll get to the examples here in a minute.
Okay.
Clue providers.
Mhm.
Pets can sometimes stumble upon important clues. You know, they find trap doors. They can smell
I know what to
a
hear.
monster that's blending in with other humans.
Yeah.
You know, so that's important. And then symbolic significance. Pets can they have a symbolic meaning in horror films. For example, a loyal dog might represent a character's last remaining connection to humanity, while a mysterious cat could symbolize a supernatural force.
Cats are evil.
Yeah. So, the other thing is extra gear.
Yeah.
You put a little vest on a dog, carry a bunch more gear with
Lots
you.
of holy water on that puppy.
Yeah, exactly. So, some examples of these. Shadow in Pet Cemetery. This loyal dog helps to warn the family of impending danger and even becomes a key figure in the film's supernatural plot.
Sure.
Nanook in Lost Boys.
Yep.
Michael's in the process of turning into a vampire. He's struggling with it. You know, he's craving to feast, and he thinks about doing it with his
taking
brother.
a bath.
His brother's susceptible. He's in the bubble bath.
Yeah.
And Nanook jumps and takes him out. Like,
Bites
so
his
awesome.
hand.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that shows you right there how important they are.
Yep.
One other movie, like Love and Monsters. I like this movie, but there's like those giant insects. The dog in there was so awesome.
Was it?
Called Boy. It's an Australian Kelpie. I've wanted one since.
Australian Kelpie.
Yeah. The other, another example is in, oh my gosh, I just forgot the name with Will Smith.
I Am Legend?
I Am Legend.
Yeah.
He was like super tight with that dog.
Yeah.
I actually had read he tried to adopt that dog after.
Oh, did he?
Yeah.
But
the
he
owner
couldn't?
didn't want to. Yeah. He's like, yeah, he loved that dog. And then The Horse and Never Ending Story.
Oh, man. Tragic. Heart
I had to
attacks.
throw that one in there.
Yeah.
But yeah, pets can add depth and complexity to horror films, serving
can.
as both vulnerable victims and powerful allies.
But also, they're evil as well, like the Hounds of Hell, because of the one that tried
Cujo.
to. Yeah, Cujo. Or don't you remember, even in the Lost Boys, there was the dog that the head vampire
That's
had.
true.
He was like a Hound of Hell, and he was protecting his guy. Yep.
Well, they're scary when they're not yours,
Oh, hell yeah.
but when they're yours,
Oh, show.
they're very sensitive.
Yeah.
They actually put you like. Most of the time, I've been around a dog like camping. Like my sister brings it, and it's all like perked up. I'm like, "What is it? What is it?"
What is it, dog?
Pulling out a bunch of knives. I'm like, "He senses something." That's the only downside.
There's an issue going on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I want to talk to you real quick about cyber attacks.
Oh, great.
Did you know every 39 seconds there's a cyber attack on a human being, not just
Not a
pets?
dog?
Yeah. So this means someone becomes a victim of a data breach, phishing attack, or other cyber crime. That's crazy. Every 39 seconds. But guess what? You can protect yourself. It's pretty easy. You just get a little app called Surfshark.
Yeah.
You get the subscription, obviously, and then you use the app, and it'll connect you online in a protected way. It'll basically put your IP address in a different country. You can connect to multiple servers. You can even have it jump around to different servers, which is pretty cool. So nothing can be traced back to you. So it's protecting you and all of your devices from all this stuff. Also enables you to get online and stream content in another country, which is pretty cool. So you can use it for entertainment and protection. Go to surfshark.deal/casualpreppers and enter our promo code casualpreppers for 83% off of 24 months. Plus, you get an additional 3 months for free. So that's 2 years plus 3 months for less than $60. You're not going to find a better
Nutty.
You're not going to find a better virtual private network. The only way to go online safe is with Surfshark.
I agree. I want to talk to you about utilizing experts in these situations, Cam. When we look at a film like The Lost Boys, the experts were kind of interesting. The Frog Brothers, right?
Yeah.
Edgar and Alan Frog. So they are self-proclaimed vampire hunters, and they pretty much seem to know everything about what's happening and how to do what they need to do. And this is mostly thanks to comic books, right? The Monster Squad, they had the scary German guy. He could speak German and read German, so that helped him, obviously.
That's right. I remember that.
But he also had, like, just this knowledge, like, an understanding of what was kind of going on. And so, like, these experts, they probably seem a little unconventional, right? But in an apocalyptic horror night survival situation...
They're usually weird, yeah.
Yeah, having someone who knows the ins and outs of your enemy can be the difference between winning the day and dying, you know, and the entire world going away. So you have to kind of use somebody like this. So how do you find someone that can help? I mean, every community has those weirdos out there, those eccentrics, but sometimes those are the people that you really need in these situations, right? You probably
we have a Sasquatch expert here in town.
Probably
like
several.
if he was just starting to become evil and terrorize the town,
I would go to him.
would go to that guy
right away
if he wasn't dead already.
Yeah, exactly. We know that the Frog Brothers, they knew vampires, but they weren't exactly like conventional experts.
True.
So you have to keep an open mind, right? You might have like that amateur weirdo cryptozoologist that lives down your street, or like a neighbor who is a survivalist who spends the weekends researching weird ass folklore stuff, So experts can come in all forms. Here's some of the types of people to look for. One is military veterans. And the reasons why you got to, because they have experience in high pressure situations. They have tactical knowledge. They have weapons expertise. So they can be super helpful in these situations. Folklore buffs or historians. Someone who has deep knowledge of myths and legends, who might be able to help you figure out how to take down some sort of an ancient evil that you might be dealing with.
Yeah.
Conspiracy theorists, Cameron. They might seem a little out there, but conspiracy theorists, they have that detailed information, and they have looked up every YouTube video known to man about government secrets, hidden threats, and unusual happenings. And if anybody's going to know the signs of an impending supernatural invasion, it's probably going to be
them.
A conspiracy theorist.
Yeah.
Don't overlook your local librarian either. They have access.
Librarian or library?
Librarian. Okay.
Yeah, okay.
Never underestimate the power of books here.
I didn't hear you. So
That's fine. That's fine. Your town's local librarian has access to every book.
They usually know everything.
They know all the stuff.
It's so funny. They always portray the librarian as knowing every book that they have in the library.
Oh, yeah, I know. It's like, that's not possible. Okay. Religious leaders.
Oh, yeah.
Don't overlook them, especially if it's
They've probably dealt with more than you know.
Yeah, a supernatural issue.
Yeah, they probably cast a few demons out.
They got some stuff to help you deal with it. Again, folklore enthusiasts, those people that are into myths and all that kind of stuff, ancient curses and whatever. Community elders.
Maybe you have a Sean Manchester in your town.
You might.
Lucky.
Yeah. Oh, you're so lucky.
Seriously.
David Ferrant, maybe.
Maybe him.
Yeah.
You'd probably be less comfortable around him.
Maybe. I don't know.
Sean makes me comfortable.
Does he? Okay.
He looks religious.
Yeah.
And
we don't know if he's religious, but he does look it.
I know. Just kidding.
The community elders, the people that have been living in your town forever.
Yeah.
They know everything about the town. They know all the old stories. They know everything, all the people and all the buildings.
I'm probably going to go to the reservation here.
Oh, for sure.
Ancestors have dealt with this stuff before, I guarantee it.
Yeah. So,
I don't mean that. Shouldn't have said it that way.
So, seek out people that in your town that have this type of knowledge. You don't have to go it alone. Utilize them.
Yeah.
It's very important.
It really is. Like, that's one of the best parts of those movies is when they're like seeking information from one of these weird people.
Yep, exactly.
If you're one of those weird people, I apologize for that too.
Yeah, but you're helpful.
Yeah. So I did put a section in here about familiar places hide unfamiliar dangers.
Okay.
Sometimes when you're trying to battle it out against vampires, you got to know where they're maybe hiding out.
Oh, yeah.
Like,
sure.
These locations might be the difference between losing your town and saving it.
Yeah.
So you've got to consider the things around town that could be a portal to hell, maybe, or a zombie lair. So it's very important that you know this.
Okay.
So natural hideouts, underground tunnels and caverns, obviously. Subterranean spaces offer protection for elements and provide ample room for monsters to lurk unseen.
It's true,
They hide away.
Anything underground, be suspicious.
Whoa, vampire hotel.
Oh, yeah. Exactly.
Yeah. So obviously, like in The Lost Boys, they went to this cave, the vampire lair, and that's where they got their first kill, I think.
It is.
They never said they killed any others before that.
No, I don't think they did.
So that was cool.
And they had sparkly blood.
They did.
Yeah.
It was like, looked like slime.
Glitter
almost.
slime on them. Yeah.
Forests and jungles.
Okay.
Dense vegetation can provide excellent camouflage for creatures. So,
sure.
like in the cabin in the woods and stuff like that, it's like they can hide out there the whole time.
Swamps even, like Gillman
Swamps.
in Monster Squad.
Yeah. So consider these places when you're getting attacked in town. It's like,
for sure,
maybe if we go to where they came from, we can take it out. Mountain ranges, caves, crevices, hidden valleys,
where they make the ranch. Yeah.
Yep. Exactly. Man-made hideouts, abandoned buildings.
Yeah.
You know, maybe one that's just sitting untouched in town. That might be the very place that, you know, the head vampire lives.
For sure.
So keep an eye on it. It's a good idea
I
to
always keep
see
an eye
if
on
any
abandoned.
of those abandoned places are being used and who's using them.
If you're in Detroit, good luck.
I would explore most of these as a kid.
Oh,
You're just like, I gotta sneak in there. Actually was gonna mention there's on I-15 between Brigham and where I lived, there's a old cement factory.
Oh.
And it was like there was rumors that there was Satan worshipers there.
Oh, for sure, yeah.
And I went and like explored many times, but there's this big cement piece that's barely above ground, and it dives like super deep into this tunnel that's like blacker than black. And I was like, that if anything happened in Brigham, I'd probably go there to see if that's where we could take them out. Yeah. Pretty cool.
I like that.
Underground facilities, basements, tunnels, bunkers, just like that.
For sure, yeah.
And then secret rooms, hidden passages, maybe in places that you've been. You're kind of like, I wonder, like where we used to have a haunted house here. It was like the haunted hotel.
Yeah.
I'm like, that could be a place to spawn monsters.
Oh, for sure.
It's terrifying.
I assume there's some living in there right now.
And maybe you do know of some other places that the underworld could, that's where the portal is.
Yeah.
So I don't know. You just need to keep an eye on your town. Keep an eye out, Ricky. Because
exactly.
You need to know where these things might be coming from.
Yeah. Some of you don't like to read. And that could be a problem when it comes to surviving an apocalyptic horror night with your squad. Because in movies like The Lost Boys, they relied on comic books to learn everything they needed about vampires. In the Monster Squad, Van Helsing's diary held the ancient knowledge they needed to stop the forces of evil. And so, whether it's fiction or if it's like centuries-old manuscripts, knowledge is often the most powerful weapon in this survival scenario. So, in a supernatural crisis, hitting the books just really might save your life. Even like you can't rely on Google all the time. Maybe the power's out. Having these old texts or access to survival guides or cryptozoology books, learning the weaknesses of these monsters is a huge plus. So right now, start building your weird-ass survival library. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And whether that's like classic survival manuals or cryptid guides or weird mythological creatures or occult handbooks. These are all things that are going to come in handy when this stuff goes down, right? If you had access to Van Helsing's diary and it's a vampire
if you had
situation,
like access to a spell that could possibly be like a protective seal over your family, aren't you going to try it?
I'll be saying whatever weird words I have to say to at least try it, right? Yeah. And also, in these situations, do not underestimate the power of fiction. Yeah. Right? We think of fiction as something that was just made up, but much of fiction comes from real life.
Yeah.
Right? We grew up, some people grew up reading horror novels.
An idea somewhere, right?
Post-apocalyptic or sci-fi stuff. Often authors base their monsters and the way that people have defeated these monsters on real world myths and legends. And so the tactics that are used in these stories can be very useful to you trying to go through this situation, right? So having those things on hand, going back and reading those and understanding how these heroes defeated these things could be super great for you in this scenario, right?
Yeah.
It's just very important. So whether it comes from an ancient text,
National Enquirer,
in comic books or horror films, whatever it is, utilize those. It all could be useful information. For this.
Yeah.
So think about it.
Great idea.
I agree.
I think you already have the biggest library in town.
Probably for weird horror books. Yes, I probably do.
Yeah. So communication is key, right? We talk about this all the time. Mm-hmm. You've got to be able to communicate with your group. Mm-hmm. That's like, as a kid, I remember them having those massive walkie-talkies, and they'd pull up the antenna, and they would communicate across town and stuff.
It was the best. It was the coolest thing I think I had ever seen as a kid. I couldn't think of anything cooler than having a set of walkie-talkies that I could talk even across the neighborhood.
Kids love them.
Oh my gosh!
Today, my kids always think that it's so amazing that they can be in the basement and upstairs and talk to each other.
Exactly. Yeah.
Even with the technology that we have, they still find a walkie-talkie pretty amazing. But obviously, you need to communicate with your group. You're not going to always stay together. Did you hear my throat do that weird little...
I didn't.
It was very monster-ish.
Is it paranormal?
It was.
In some way?
It was all... Yeah. Many of you might be rewinding to hear it. But yeah, so you need to continue your communication with your group. Establish a leader, someone who makes quick decisions when it counts. Like that, the strategist is kind of key with the communication plan. Oversees the operation is taking place. Have backup plans for sure with meeting points. That's the one thing I see is groups get broken up in these movies and they don't have a second plan. They just kind of like, they didn't show up. Yeah. So what do we do now? Or they go out, they go and try and do something by themselves. It's always something like that. It's like they didn't expect it to happen. And it always happens.
Problems arise.
Yeah. One key thing is like, don't go search for someone by yourself or investigate alone.
Yeah.
Don't be that dummy.
No, it's just
we see that happen all the time.
Not a good idea.
So some of the ways that you can communicate with your group, obviously walkie-talkies are the best and the coolest.
Yeah.
But if you don't have that, and we're taking phones out of this a little bit.
Okay.
Phones are obviously going to be useful.
Yeah.
But other things you can do, hand gestures. You can be on the roof and communicate silently to your friends. That's what the military does.
Yeah.
So,
yep.
Paint symbols or pieces of clothing hanging to mark locations that are either
like a bra at a treehouse.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I'm going to use bras on every of the locations that I
different color bras.
If they're safe, it's a bra.
Yeah. It's a white bra.
If it's unsafe,
black bra.
Okay.
Red bra.
Red bra.
Bra.
Red bra going down, bruh. And then other thing is like lighting and flares, obviously. In A Quiet Place, Christmas lights were used to kind of show that something was going on. And then flares obviously are sweet. Yeah. So you got to have the countermeasures.
You got to have them.
And then stay connected, like I was saying, walkie-talkies, or you could do, if your phone's still working, obviously that's going to be the best. I wouldn't, if it's even still working during one of these scenarios, social media is going to be a mess.
Oh, yeah.
There's no way you're going to be able to interpret what's real.
Oh, yeah.
There's too much AI involved. It's
probably going to be mostly just political stuff anyway.
I just killed a zombie, everybody.
Yeah, Trump 2024.
Yeah, that's true.
I guess is.
And then you obviously want a radio. All of these.
Yes.
That's probably my favorite of all this. Like one of my favorite scenes in all of these is when they're trying to like listen to what's going on in the world. I know. Like in Signs when they're like trying to listen in. And man, it's probably one of my favorite parts, but in real life, this would be the most like terrifying. Because you would only be able to like paint the picture of what is being seen and told. Like we're not used to that. Like in the world that we live in.
No, we want to see it.
Yeah. So but yeah, good communication is vital to surviving any of these scenarios. Make sure your group knows how to stay in touch and batteries are charged and you have fallback plans. Because once you get separated, it's over.
I agree. I got to tell you about TacPack though, because today's podcast is brought to you by the fine folks at TacPack. They are the only tactical subscription box with useful professional grade stuff inside. Use our code Casual Preppers and you're going to get a free $70 machine-made part from Next Level Armament, which I assume will be super useful in a apocalyptic horror night scenario, right?
Yeah,
whatever it is going to be super useful. So go check out TacPack. So we're talking about communication, but we're also a lot of the problem is that you're on the move. Like you're not always just staying at your treehouse or your fort or whatever it is. You're going to be running from vampires. There's going to be werewolves howling and barking all over town. You're going to have hordes of zombies. Cam's going to be dropping stuff everywhere.
Just drink all my element.
But running and moving without a plan is a recipe for disaster. And there's a reason splitting up never works in horror movies because it's a bad idea.
Always.
You got to be able to stay safe and quiet and out of sight while you make this escape. So learn to move in silence. Don't be so freaking loud all the time, you idiots. Okay? The less noise you make, the harder it is for your enemies to track you. And this means like no clomping around with loud footsteps or shouting or
whispering.
Talking. Ugh. It's like, shut up, okay? Invest in some quiet footwear. Maybe you get some wrestling shoes. I don't know. You want to be quiet, though. Maybe you just get them moccasin slippers to run around in this night. But you want to be quiet. Soft-soled shoes. Avoid stepping.
Flip-flops.
Not flip-flops, because you hear them things flipping and flopping all over the place.
Yeah.
All right? And again, like Cam said, you got to stick together, you guys. This never ends well when you split up. So,
and they always get split up.
Always. It's always an
issue. And they're
issue.
like, I don't know how to, get back with my group. I don't know how to get a hold of them.
Keep your group at least within sight and establish a buddy system so there's at least always two of you together, right? Because at least you got a buddy, even if you're not with your entire group. And then keep those walkie-talkies. Those things are very important. And then use the terrain to your advantage. I assume that you're going to know your town and the terrain better than the zombies do, or than the werewolf does, or than the vampires do. I don't know. But, utilize it to your advantage because that's very important. And then you can utilize things like distractions or decoys as you're running away from people. This can be as simple as tossing a rock, right? Or banging on a metal fence to draw attention away from your group. There's a lot of different things you can do, but utilize that as you're going because it's going to be very important. So that's just some things to think about as you're on the go during this night.
Yeah, that's great because you're most likely going to be on the go. Don't forget to make it awesome as well.
This is it. This is the thing.
So I know we've been rather serious about these monsters, but at one point during all of this, you need to make like the final boss montage. Like this is when you're putting all of your stuff together. You don't have to be talking during this. Like
usually there's a cool
song
playing.
There's usually an awesome song and setting. Like you're in a basement and all of you are just like slamming like walkie-talkies and weapons into a backpack.
You're carving.
And you're like looking at
stakes.
you're like looking at a map and then marking spots and stuff like that. Like this is the time to take all of this and make it freaking fun.
Oh man, this is always the best part of every movie. Always. Always.
Obviously, each and every one is going to have their own monster issue to deal with, but this is when you just are putting together your plan and ready to go out there and bust some heads.
Oh man.
And so it has to be a big moment. And I think it also is going to motivate your group if everybody kind of syncs up and does this together.
Like I really think putting a cool song on while
I think it's a good idea too. Like it's no different than like a workout. Like you're getting pumped up before a game. You're going to go out there and kill all the zombies, stake a bunch,
So like have that song maybe in mind as you're going into this evening.
No, I think it's perfect. So just remember during all of this to make sure you have a montage moment.
Yeah, it's so important, dude. So that's kind of the episode. I mean, you're going to have a final showdown, somewhere in this, but we've kind of given you all the tools to deal with that final showdown. And I just kind of wanted to talk about, like, why did we do this episode? Like, what is the point of all of this? And it's for very selfish reasons, because I remember being like 12 years old, lying in bed. I just watched The Lost Boys or I just watched The Monster Squad. And you kind of just had that, like, feeling in your guts, like, what if it was real? Like, what if there were really vampires?
And you're thinking, like, who's my best friend that would be with me during this? And, like,
it would be up to us to save the world, And it was, I don't know, it's just something about the way those movies made you feel as a kid. Like, you could defeat monsters if you had, like, some hairspray and some, you were brave and you had your best friends.
Talk to grandpa and you pretty much could learn everything right then and there.
You had a cool old book to look something up, I don't know. Something about these movies for me and like thinking about them nostalgically just added like that sense of mystery and wonder or fantasy into your life, right? Because like chores, you had school, you had to do a bunch of stuff. So boring, but like thinking about this was like it just added like possibility and mystery in your life. So I'm like, maybe vampires do exist and like it might actually happen one day and I've got to be ready for it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
There's a portal to another dimension somewhere in town. We just haven't found it.
It was the
yet.
time in your life that you wanted it all to happen.
Yeah. And that time is now.
Cool.
To be honest with you, like right now, you know what I mean?
I remember playing out these scenarios on the farm all the time.
Yeah.
Like, Tremors was a big one.
Oh, for sure. Yeah.
Played Tremors, but I always had a feeling like in the corn there was like I'm like, what if they all just start to attack my house tonight?
How would I figure that
out? Obviously, as a kid and with my dad owning guns, that's what I was like, I'm gonna go to the guns.
Got to get some guns.
Yeah. But like I said, I had makeshift weapons.
Yeah.
And I learned how to like, move around the farm and I knew where each little hide like point where I could like take them out from a range.
For sure.
So
I don't know. I just think it's fun, and I think sometimes we get older and we don't think about these fun things as much. We just get too caught up in
the
all
prepping stuff is there.
Yeah. Like, well, we think about this as something that's made up, but you know what? Your job is made up. Like, it's all just made up.
Yeah.
It's like you can have fun with this stuff that is it's fun for you. It's fun for me to think about this and talk about it. So it's okay. Have fun with it, man.
Yeah.
You know?
Hopefully you had fun with it.
Oh, I hope so.
Because you should watch these movies and then think about it a different way after we've talked about this.
I think so too.
You know, of like, how would I navigate this with my family?
How would I do this?
So cool.
With my buddies. So anyways, that's it. Anything else, Cam?
No, I don't think so. Just watch out there.
We do have a new battle box and a crate club that I would like to get to real quick before we head out. So the latest battle box just came out, number 116. The first item in the box is the Rocka Gator Torrent 70-liter rain cover, and this is a fantastic rain cover for like an EDC bag or a bug-out bag. Really good stuff.
That's nice to have a rain cover that'll cover.
Then the Uncharted Supply Slishman Pressure Wrap Tourniquet. Can't have enough tourniquets. Everybody's losing limbs and bleeding out, so you got to have that.
I don't know where that's at.
It's in there somewhere. And then we got the Pull Start Fire. Those things are beautiful.
Dude, they're the funnest fire
They're so
starters.
much fun. Yeah. Double X Knives Bush Baby Knife. Beautiful little
This is a pretty sweet knife.
fixed blade. Yep. Then we have the Spitfire X. And this is a campfire poker that does lots of cool stuff.
You heard it?
Yeah, I heard it right there. And then we have the Wesen Almond Folder little stubby knife.
This knife is pretty funny looking.
Yeah, so
pretty cool.
That is the latest battle box. And then we also got the latest crate club. I had the thing up here a minute ago. So the latest crate club came out. This is a crate club. The General has the Tactica X .100 Survival Lighter. Very cool little lighter. Then we have the Griffin Pocket Tool Mini.
Got to put fuel in it?
I don't know. Griffin Pocket Tool Mini. And then we have the Rescue Me Whistles for Life. So it's a rescue whistle. Obviously, got to have those on your apocalyptic horror night.
Oh,
Yeah.
There it is.
And then we have the Calamus Glide Sharpener. And then we have the Fox Knife Zero Desert Warrior Knife. And then the Rescue Laser Light Signaling Device. Yeah.
Did you turn that on?
And then
watch out. That gear's pretty sweet.
And then the MyMedic MyFac First Aid Kit. Yeah,
it's a big boy. It's got a bunch of medical stuff in it.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. So, thank you guys for listening. We appreciate you greatly, right, Cam?
We sure do.
Go follow us on all the places that we are, and
stay survived.